this, and of course I gotta be the villain. She ain't shit. She this and I'm this. Show me a woman that had a man that was doing her right and she just shitted on him for no reason. This is facts. What are we talking about? I literally told my friends, they was like, yo, you think he ever gonna leave? I was like, when he finds a replacement, when he finds someone who we think he can have doing all the shit that I was doing.
The music had just started. Claressa was standing at the back of the venue, dressed like a dream, holding her bouquet with trembling hands, eyes filled with joy. Everyone in that room had their phones out, recording, waiting for the moment she'd take her first step down the aisle. But in less than a heartbeat, that peaceful moment turned into complete chaos. Screams came from the side doors. Phones dropped. Guests turned their heads in shock. And walking straight through the chaos, like a storm with no warning, was Remy Ma. She wasn't smiling, wasn't dressed for celebration, and definitely wasn't on the guest list. She was loud, furious, and completely out of control. As security scrambled and people started running, the bride was left standing in disbelief. Then the cops came, and instead of calming things down, one of them looked Remy dead in the face and said the words that silenced everything. "Now it's your turn." Claressa had been planning this wedding for what felt like forever. This wasn't just a party, it was supposed to be the most important day of her life. Every detail was picked carefully. The venue was locked down with strict invites. The flower arrangements were flown in from another state. Only the most trusted people were supposed to be there. Friends, family, close teammates, a few famous faces. Everyone she loved and cared about was watching her step into this new chapter. But there was one face nobody expected to see walking through that door, especially not in the middle of her vows. Remy Ma. And she didn't come quietly. People close to the situation said she showed up out of nowhere, visibly upset, possibly drunk, and yelling things that had no place at a wedding. Witnesses said she was screaming about betrayal, lies, and how this whole ceremony was built on something fake. Some guests say Remy made a direct move toward Claressa just as the officiant was about to speak. Security tried to block her path, but she kept yelling. Guests in the front row were too stunned to react. Kids were crying. Bridesmaids were pulling the bride away while Remy kept pushing forward. One woman, reportedly one of Claressa's closest friends, claims Remy actually tried to swing on the bride but missed. Another said she didn't miss everything because in one sharp moment, she reached out, grabbed Claressa's veil, and yanked it clean off her head. That single move sent everything spiraling. You could hear screams echo through the venue as security rushed to contain her. Chairs flipped. Someone knocked over a table. It wasn't just a disruption, it was destruction. The wedding, which hadn't even officially started, was suddenly over before it began. Claressa was rushed to the back in tears, surrounded by bridesmaids trying to comfort her. Meanwhile, guests were asked to leave. Some were escorted out by staff. Others left in silence, completely in shock. Nobody could believe what just happened. Not at that kind of event. Not on that kind of day. This wasn't just a random outburst. The drama between Remy Ma.
I sleep in the room by myself. I don't think nothing of it. Next day, same thing. I said, damn, babe, you sleeping in there again? She like, yeah, I was just staying with such and such, right? I said, all right, cool. Anybody in Bedford Hills, can you please step to the front? So now I'm like, damn, this shit weird. The hell? You feel me? So at this time, I try to be intimate. I'm keeping it 100 with you. I try to be intimate with her. And she came in the bed with me. She
Claressa
hugged
had been
me, kissed me,
brewing
the
for a
whole
long
thing.
time, months,
And at this time, I'm
maybe
trying to be
even
intimate
longer.
with her. When it's time to
People
go
close
down,
to both women say things started
slipped
falling
out of it.
apart
You know what I'm saying?
when
I'm like,
whispers
oh,
of something strange began to float around.
She go this
Rumors,
after she do that.
photos,
She go
quiet
back to
dinner
sleep in the room with
meetups.
homegirls.
Suddenly,
Tickling me.
Claressa wasn't
I
just
see
Remy's
something
former friend or
fishy
public
here.
supporter. She was being seen out with Papoose. And not in a friend of the family way. These weren't group outings or industry events. These were private moments, moments that felt too intimate for comfort. They were spotted at a small lounge out of town, reportedly sitting close, laughing too hard. Another time, they were caught in the background of a mutual friend's Instagram story, leaning in too close during what should have been a casual gathering. Even though nothing official had been said, the streets were talking. And so was Remy, just not out loud. Instead of speaking directly, Remy started doing what a lot of women do when they're hurt. She posted cryptic messages online, lyrics that sounded like heartbreak, quotes about betrayal, Bible verses about revenge. At first, people thought she was just venting, but then she deleted all her pictures with papoose, unfollowed mutual friends. And when fans began putting two and two together, they realized something bigger was going on. It didn't help that papoose, who's usually vocal and protective, said absolutely nothing, not even to deny the rumors. That silence was loud. It gave everything more weight, especially when some fans dug deeper and found old footage of Claressa and papoose backstage at a show, playfully flirting, sharing drinks. Maybe it meant nothing. Maybe it meant everything. But to Remy, it looked like betrayal in high definition, and the final blow didn't come from gossip. It came in the form of a wedding invitation that never showed up. While many of Remy's old friends were proudly posting their Claressa wedding invites, showing off the elegant calligraphy and gold-trimmed envelopes, Remy got nothing. No invite, no heads up, no explanation. She only found out because someone accidentally included her in a group chat about it. That silence, after all the history, after everything they'd been through, cut deeper than any rumor ever could. It was like being erased from someone's life in real time. And from that moment, something inside her reportedly snapped. She wasn't just heartbroken. She was enraged. The idea that papoose, her husband, her day one, her partner through all the ups and downs, was now playing groom in someone else's fairy tale was too much to bear. And not just someone else, but someone who used to stand next to her like a sister. Even before the wedding, people noticed something off about Remy. She canceled appearances, skipped interviews, looked visibly distressed in the few photos she did post. By the time the police arrived, the entire wedding venue was on edge. The ceremony had completely fallen apart. Decorations were trampled, chairs were flipped, and guests were scattered around the building, some crying, others arguing, and a few just standing, still in shock. The music had stopped. The DJ had left his booth. What was supposed to be a celebration of love had become a live crime scene, with shattered dreams scattered across the marble floor. Claressa was in the back, still dressed in her wedding gown, surrounded by family trying to calm her down. Her veil was gone. Her makeup was running. And the photographers who were hired to capture joy were now snapping pictures of tears and chaos. Remy, meanwhile, was still in the middle of it all, pacing, yelling, refusing to back down.
And on my phone, that was my friend, I would be like, girl, you just turned 30 years old. You are a world champion. You are accomplished. You have made it from out the ghetto, from the slums, from the depths of Flint, Michigan. You don't got no kids. You have your whole life ahead of you. Why are you attaching yourself to this 47-year-old man that doesn't have anything going, has no career, no job, no income, except for the income that he's claiming off of your percentage because he's your manager? Got you out here talking, looking crazy. He's the one that don't want to sign, don't want to get his stuff out his ex house. Doesn't be there for his child that he begged for, but telling you he wants another one. Let me guess,
and ignoring everyone trying to pull her away. When officers entered the venue, they were met with instant tension. Security had tried to control the situation but failed. Remy wasn't going quietly. She reportedly shouted at the officers first, demanding to speak with papoose, calling out Claressa's name like they were still in high school, and she was confronting a rival in the hallway. But this wasn't teenage drama. This was a full-blown public meltdown in front of celebrities, cameras, and now cops. One officer reportedly warned her multiple times to calm down and leave peacefully. But Remy wouldn't listen. Instead, she allegedly tried one last time to rush toward Claressa, who was being shielded in a back hallway near the bridal suite. That's when the officers moved in and grabbed Remy by the arms, holding her back as she screamed, twisted, and tried to break free. It was messy, loud, embarrassing, and heartbreaking to watch. Then came the words that everyone keeps talking about. As Remy struggled, one of the officers looked her dead in the eyes and, according to several witnesses, said, "Now it's your turn." Just 6 words, but they hit like a hammer.